Hello everyone, welcome to another adventure into reality. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things today. So I want you to all sit back, relax, come into the chat room, sign on into the chat room. We are going to be giving 2 free tickets away today. Just one second here. 2 free tickets away today to come to the Living the Mystical live event. You must, to be eligible, you must be a member at the website. You must be able to attend the event October 5th through the 8th. Do not apply if you cannot attend the event. Okay? Do not apply. And if you are not a member, you have a chance to get a member by the time you get the email. Third, please respond to the emails that we give to you. So everyone, if you want to go to the event and have a chance to win 2 tickets to the live event October 5th through the 8th, contact Debbie in the chat room inside the web page. That is here for everyone to see. All right, everyone, we have a lot of things to be talking about. Our new Mystery Schools teaching is going to be out in ebook format. In 2015, in 2014, I put out a web series called the Mystery Schools Revealed. This coming Thursday, it'll be available in the transcript style for an ebook for those that want to begin studying that form of information, who want to take a little bit more in depth of a concept of what is going on inside our world right now. Remember, this Thursday, look inside the shop or look inside the email. If you have not signed up for the email list and you want to get the free information that comes with living the mystical life daily, the advanced heart meditation, the shaman's death, and the sanctuary of all souls, you must subscribe to the webpage. We've been getting a lot of people that have been asking, how do you get to get the material? Just an email. That's it. And with the email, you get notifications of the shows and whatever else we're doing. A lot of people are new to me. This is the age of awakening, the age where people are looking. For those of you who are beginners and still trying to figure out what's out there, you're going to learn about conscious application of the sacred, what sacred neutrality is. Many of you have come from the galactic history perspective, listening to the Adventures in Reality shows, or the various things that I brought out over the years. People come from all places, all shapes. We are consumed in 161 countries around the world. We do have a call-in system for those that want to call in and ask questions. Today is an open call-in question day. Our Thursdays are for more topic-driven. So we're going to go to our first caller.
First caller is Christy from British Columbia.
Christy from British Columbia, are you there? Christy, are you there? How you doing today?
How are you?
I'm doing great, great, great. What's going on with you?
I'm here.
So, how did you find out about me?
2014. Yeah, I was looking for information about the Akashic records because I heard about it somewhere, and I was like, what's going on there? So I just, like they say, went down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
All right. So, what kind of question did you want to ask today?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're having a little bit of difficulty with your voice.
I wanted to know about menopause.
About menopause. Okay. So menopause happens to both men and women. That's the. Yeah, we're getting a lot of interference on your line. So just let me.
1 second. Let me have a look at my. Is it soft, or can you hear me at all? Or?
No, we can hear you just fine. The issue is it's the internet is breaking up on your end.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're having some kind of call-in issue there. So let me answer about menopause. Both men and women can have menopause. Women is more prevalent because of the last several thousand generations when life went unfulfilled in certain aspects of the spiritual contract resolving. A menopause process would start where the unfinished eggs or the unused eggs that were potential in this lifetime are passed on through the light bodies and then given to the next I am, who's going to take over the endless amount of fetus and egg process. Every egg inside the woman's ovaries has aspects of previous lives simply as potentials or blueprints, so that when a new fetus comes into planned new lives, it has a template or notes or a chronicle to work from. A lot of what I talk about is planning in the fetus in the womb. And to understand that is every life you have, you pass on, you go to your astral worlds, and when you decide that you want to come back in again for whatever reason, you go into a waiting line and you begin, just metaphorically, go into a line and then you get a date for a birth. And sometimes that birth date could be 100 years away or 5 years away. You go into the egg process and connect to a lineage based off of what soul families are incarnated on the surface at that time that you go into that egging process. And there's where you create. Menopause relates to this egging process when certain aspects of the mental, spiritual, and physical needs of the body, mind, and soul as a complex beingness of expression, if certain things aren't met, a menopause process starts. And also there is a kundalini awakening at that time. Now, this is not a sexual kundalini awakening. This is a magical kundalini awakening for those women who want to begin to own their power as the grandmother. Grandmother are not just having children. It's an eminence energy that comes forth, a grand dame energy. And in today's society, it's completely misunderstood. And instead of it being nurtured and expressed as a great magical awakening, it is pushed and suppressed, and they're forced to stay at work, so on and so forth. So menopause is the great awakening of the body, mind, and spirit as a complex. And it is a complex process to understand the many parts of the self. So many women are growing up with suppression, depending on the generation that they grew up from. Those generations from the 40s and the 50s, they grew up as a suppressed woman who barely were able to vote. The women from the 60s and the 70s had two types of mind, fully suppressed or abused. So those that rebelled became abused, and that created a different sex and patterns. Worldwide, there's not just the American patterns. The French, the British, the Germans, the Chinese, they all had their own expression that suppressed women. This is cumulative over many thousands and millions of years, which affects the planning process that the fetus has. So menopause also relates to that bubble in lifetime where they're trying to give you as much sovereign, free spiritual will because you're not dedicating it to birthing energy that you can birth other grand ideoses, concepts, given altruistic concepts for the whole, becoming a healer, so on and so forth. That is the awakening into the grander powers of being a divine feminine. Also, it is accessible early, where there were those that could choose in their mid-30s after they give birth to a certain number of children that were spiritually complete. They could go into that menopause process shortly after the last child rendering area, and that was a magical or body-owning process in which it would no longer be a fertile womb, but a co-creative womb with the magical processes they were doing to bring more of the elder spirits of the lineage in and begin to commune with them. This is why many of the women would become soothsayers, fortune tellers, so on and so forth, because they were able to understand the ancestorship of people. So that's an aspect of menopause. Is the caller still there? Are you there? All right, let's just move on to the next caller.
Okay.
Are you there? There we are.
Thank you for that. I'm
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot.
Andrew.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Hello?
Yeah, you're breaking up. I can barely understand what you're saying. All right, let's move on to the next caller.
Okay, our next caller is Robert from Tioga area.
Robert from Tioga, are you there?
Hey, good evening. How are you doing, Andrew?
Good, Robert. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate that you put on this broadcast.
Well, thanks a lot. How did you find out about me?
I was investigating Irish history and came upon your discussions with Veronica King, and was fascinated by what you had to speak about.
Well, thank you. So what questions did you want to talk about today?
I've got a two-part thing. I'm interested in my own Akashic record and where I've been. I'm also interested in my daughter. My youngest daughter has mild autism, and that's a deep topic. And I was wondering if you had any insight on that, and specifically her, because she's not, and she's 8 years old now. So
Okay.
that's I've got a two-part question.
All right.
Basically.
So let me start with the autistic child. So what is her first name and date of birth?
It's Elizabeth, and she was born on 10 November 2008.
Does she have something going on with coloring markers or crayons, like abusive?
All the time. We have butcher paper over the table. She draws on, we allow her to draw and color. She draws on herself.
Okay.
And that's only been in the past 3 months.
All right, so
She wouldn't even touch a crayon.
she's trying to put together a bigger pattern. So when I tuned into her, what I see her is she's always at an eagle eyes point of view at everyone's energy. And right now she's in a deep, deep pattern recognition. This is why it came, this crayon thing came through right away. All right, so let me give you the right English. Autistic children have unique purposes in the unseen world. Some came in with the idea that they were going to be normal, and then the genetic side of autism or some environmental or spiritual trigger prevented the soul from running that kind of life program, and they had a backup life program, which means they are much more potent in the unseen world. Is she having issues with going outside too, like to the mailbox?
Well, she has this tendency to elope, to run away.
Yeah.
It's a game to her. We have to hold her hand, and
so
she loves the outdoors.
So have you
We can't let her
noticed?
go.
Have you noticed any fascination with mail or the mailbox?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
All right, begin to look and ask anyone else if you notice if she looks at the mail, or give the mail to her and see what she does to it, or have her see if she'll go and pick the mail up with you.
Okay.
If that is what I'm thinking it is, she is deep inside the system. And then think of this as in like the Matrix. And she's a reverse Agent Smith. She's actually inside technology, undoing things inside the technology without the technology knowing it.
Okay.
And everything for her is what I call 1 degree of separation. So everybody you have ever met, every person you've crossed in the street, in the traffic, every person you've ever heard their voice, is your 1 degree of separation.
All right.
That is also her 1 degree of separation. So anyone in that potentiality field, she has a psychic connection to, and is able to use them as a fixed point in fraud time. And she can observe through them or through their technology. Now, not all autistic children are like this, just yours is particularly adept in this. And let's just say is able to disrupt command and control systems from having instantaneous reaction. As soon as you're out of instantaneous reaction, you've lost the multidimensional game of chess. That's the key to understanding. So she's come here as a joker card, a wild card, not necessarily to be an insurgent or anything like that. She just has that ability to, crash the house of cards. The house of cards can be built again, but she has this ability to crash the house of cards. Now,
Whose house? Excuse me, sir. Whose house? I don't think I understand.
the unseen world's house. There's another world layered over what we see here, and that's the unseen world. Everything that doesn't use Roman numeral fraud time as its basis of existence.
Okay.
That could be Hollow Earth. It can be off-world. It can be anything else that doesn't use our Roman numeral time. Roman numeral time is just an imprint that's about 1,000 years old.
Wow.
Right. That's how young it is in our history. There were other eras where we didn't use Roman numeral time. We used something else. Okay? But we didn't use it as a global species then. Every state, every big area had their own version of time, their own gods with their own time. So when it comes to things that operate in Roman numeral time, anything that's keeping that global narrative running in the unseen world. And she's
Okay,
not operating alone. She has a huge team of others that do the same thing. It's an organization that they came in and, they're like taggers. That's the way I can describe them.
Oh, this is fascinating. Andrew, I've never had a conversation with her. She only repeats only a few words at a time. And I would love to just speak to her.
All right. So what words has she spoken?
She repeats bits and phrases from TV shows.
Okay.
And from movies and from things we taught her.
Okay.
It's like she has her own language.
Oh, she does have her own language, light language.
Yeah, so recently my oldest daughter told her to come pick up the toys, and she simply responded, Cinderella, mind control. So the symbolic meaning was, you're telling me what to do, just like Cinderella, and you're trying to control my mind. But that's how she responds to things. It's very succinct.
Okay. Have you been able to read my contract revocations?
Some of them, yes.
So what I would like for you to do as your own experiment is to get the Union and Communion Consciousness Strike or the Shaman's Death. I'd prefer the Union and Communion Consciousness Strike. And just sit next to her and just read it out loud as if you were trying to read to her and see if she picks up anything from it.
Okay.
Okay? You're not doing it with superpower. You're just if you were reading out loud and watch her. Is she paying attention to the words? There is a code inside there. Okay? And you will begin to notice codes that come back in certain aspects. One of the things with autistic children and not being able to speak is they don't actually have the throat chakra inside heart alignment. So oftentimes they become very, very tight at the back of the body. Does she allow people to touch her?
No, she's a Scorpio. She's very a very small circle of trust. So me, my wife, and my daughter, but she doesn't usually let people around.
All right, so I run into this all the time. Will she allow one of the trusted members to use a back massager on her, like one of those machines that vibrate?
It's been a long time. Tried that. It's been a long time.
It's important that she gets some kind of body work on. Her body is way, 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 way too tight. It will really relax her a lot. And you can make it fun where she's enjoying it. They have these special massagers out there that vibrate very fast, and they both hands can hold them, and they've got a flat cover on the top and not knobs. And I have had tremendous success with those that allow that form of touching because it will clear out their psychic garbage too. Now, does she have any form of cyclical meltdowns, like before the full moon or after the full moon?
Typically, that is a time. Periods of transition get to her. If we rush her too fast between events, let's say going to class, that she has speech therapy or going to church or things that take her off her normal schedule or go too fast.
Right.
They push her. She needs transition times.
All right. So how is she with exercise?
Loves the outdoors. She runs a lot. She spins. She
Yeah.
orbits the house. She
Yeah.
plays with the dog. She's agile. She could climb like a mountain climber.
Okay. That's her adrenaline. Now, what I've noticed in the children with autism that I have, depending on the severity of the autism, they can become adrenaline junkies. And you've really got to discourage that. It'll end up with broken bones because, stuff happens. People fall. So
Okay.
you try to encourage the less horseplay. And if she likes to tree climb, get her a jungle gym, Get her those things that she can use that on, but it's important that she has body work on her. So finding someone that can come into that zone of trust, or there are these other massagers that fit right over big chairs and they rub to the top, to the bottom, all over. They like fit in
Okay.
car seats. But she needs to have her shoulders, the underneath her shoulder blades, the hips, the buttocks, the quads, the bottoms of the feet. So there is a technique where you get a tennis ball or a baseball, and you put it on the ground and you roll the bottom of your feet over it. And they sell these as actual tools that you could buy on Amazon. They're reflexology foot rubbers or stuff like that. She needs to learn these. It's important for her growth when puberty starts, because that is where you're going to have meltdowns that are based off of, a complete misunderstanding of the woman parts. Okay? And, she's right at the age where, it's going to start happening, pretty soon.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm interested in. I've had these thoughts every so often, but what does her record say? Where did she come from? Where was she? Where was she before this? And
Okay, so
what's she supposed to do here?
all right, I have to edit some of this. There are some things as a father you just don't want to know what goes on in the unseen world. So you ever seen the movie The Transformers?
Not this new one, no.
No, any of the first three. You have the leader named Optimus Prime.
I'm familiar. Okay, I used to watch the show as a kid.
All right. In the unseen world, she is like an Optimus Prime with very specialized personalities who do very unique missions to very dangerous places, but their reputation is so ominous, notorious, that very few things challenge them when they come in as a unified team. They can enforce a peace between warring factions, as well as educate factions to not be factions anymore.
Okay.
So her original goal was to be a great spiritual leader on the surface of the world, but when factions realized the type of light that was incarnated in that DNA, they made sure that that frequency of light would never be potent enough in the global narrative, but in the dream world it could be. So she had to have this autistic format to make manifestations in the physical world so that her completeness of the other frequency could come through. Again, not all autistic children are like this. This is just, this is individual for your daughter here. This was her choice. As for where she came from, I will say it in the light language. It is the place before there was a place. That's what it translates as. So before words were defining place of space-time. It was a space and place before space-time began in this section of this galaxy. So where she came from was a whole other galaxy called Vricha. And the Vricha galaxy was, let's just say, the 11th era of universal light. So when this universe was created, it was very small. It had one universal central sun. And every so often, gates of immigration would open from other universes, and a new sun and new galaxies were created. So the 11th expansion of our universe, and right now we're in 398 expansions of our universe. So the Vricha homeworld, well, sun, we'll just call it that. That's because it's all an integrated system at that point. Spawned trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of beings who went out and made the stars, crafted asteroids. That was their artwork, to populate space and time, so there could be places in space and time that people could observe as future consciousnesses of a great universal hologram of beings transversing light. Very old, very ancient light being who's not just living here, simultaneously living in thousands and thousands of other worlds. That's where she's from.
Wow.
A stream of consciousness from a universal sea of consciousnesses spread through many galaxies.
That's fascinating, Andrew. The thing you've said, to say it succinctly, I've had, by watching her and what she does, I had always thought that she could be a cute little Van Helsing.
Good description. Good description.
That's how I felt.
Well, there are more things to understand. She can talk, and she does talk when people aren't around. So, do you still have baby monitors?
Yes.
Turn them on every now and then. Listen in on her. See if she notices who's listening or in.
Okay.
Every now and then, talk back through the baby monitor. Hello? See if she answers back. Everything is timing with her. So maybe every day at 11:11 a.m., you send a message to her. Or 2:22 or 6:32, something. Pattern. Understand she is all pattern recognition. That is how you will begin to communicate to her. Operating at her oversight, like a big eagle always up in the air. So you got to see yourself from oversight. What's everybody in the household doing? What's the position of everyone? See as the big chess master. Okay?
Okay.
So that when she's in her place of control, meaning everyone's doing their natural thing and leaving her be, that's when she's in control. Meaning she's running your unseen world without you knowing it. Okay, protecting you guys from negative frequencies, kicking the crap out of things that need to be kicked the crap out of. And every now and then, it's a young kid that has, their own emotional shit go on inside them. Okay? It's not a terribly tough manifestation. It is lonely in there, but the work she does on the other side is like this never-ending TV show of enjoyment for her. Okay? And if you want to know what's going on in there, models. Start learning to build models with her. Just, go to the hobby store and buy a bunch of models and start making them in front of her and see if she'll join.
Okay.
Cars, trucks, transformers, anything that's a model that can put together.
Okay.
Paint miniatures with her. Try. If you engage her the right way and the right frequency, you will do it. Now, earlier I was talking about the contract revocation, the Union Community Consciousness Strike. That is a document of mass pattern recognition. I believe that she's conscious enough to get it on the unseen world. And if her unseen world, as I think it does, has enough potency behind it, she'll want to learn to read it with the understanding that it has to be read out loud. Because it's built inside the coding of the document.
Okay.
So encouraging her, you know, like as if it was a regular reading assignment. There's nothing dangerous in there. It's all about self-empowerment. It's all about saying no to things that are forcing you to do anything. It's a document of empowering. And there's a great amount of knowledge that can assist her at making better manifestations in this physical world. And when you have better manifestations in the physical world, your unseen world increases an infinite fold.
Definitely. I sure will. She's very like a tuning fork. She's music, sound, light, noise. She's affects her differently. They call it sensory processing disorder, but I've always called it like she's a tuning fork. I play the bagpipes, and she responds to that. She loves the water. She can pick up on how we're feeling, but she can't say it back to us.
Exactly. She's an empath without the out loud process. So she's actually telepathing with you, but you guys can't hear the telepathy, which makes her very frustrated at times. There are times where she looks at you as she's telepathically talking to you, and you're not physically talking, but you're just allowing her to speak to you, and you don't even realize it. And there might have even been times where you felt you were talking to her, but there was no words. That's empathing. Now, when you feel that happening, it was where you got to stop, close your eyes, and I'll hear her, okay? And then say back, 1 + 1 is 2. First contact. Help me understand. Slow. So she can send patterns to you and know that you have to be sending back information because she can't figure out what actually makes you trigger in telepathy. You know, she knows what love is, but hasn't been taught love in the verbal format too. The I need your help, and this, the that, the little things, inflections in the voice that amplify our love around for people. Okay? Does she cry when she's hurt at all? Or does she not cry?
Oh, yes. She doesn't cry that often. And when she does cry, it seems to us maybe arbitrary. She'll fall and she won't cry. She'll hurt herself. She's very physically tough. But something on the television might make her burst into tears. To us, that seems benign.
Yes, that's what
to
I was
us,
wondering.
it was no problem at all.
So that is emotional distancing. And that is something else that you've got to, as a father and a mother, have to realize she doesn't have the same instrument of experience tools, but she has having very common experiences. Kids get distant, and then they become emotionally distant. When the television is triggering them, but pain isn't, that means they are very much struggling with the reality at that moment. Too much stress is going on. This is why it's vital, vital, vital for her to get body work. Now, you can go and learn some techniques like reflexologies, a foot massage, shiatsu trigger points. You know, I know it's hard introducing someone else into the environment and allowing that to happen without it being traumatic for everyone. Okay?
Right.
But you got to figure out a way, whether it's buying the massage tools and making that the routine, the part of the unbreakable routine. It will really change her life. Now, let's talk about food. How picky is it for her?
She's very picky. She has probably 5 menu items that she's ever wanted. Most food, texture-wise, is revulsive to her. She doesn't like it.
Okay.
And
what are the 5 foods?
It's upsetting health-wise.
What are the 5 foods?
Well, like Ritz crackers, saltine crackers, chicken strips, maybe French fries, and chocolate milk.
Okay.
That's it.
All stuff from television.
Correct.
Right. Right now, that's television bonding her. So, do you watch cooking shows?
Yes.
Does she watch them too?
In the background, she doesn't really pay attention to them.
So, does she have a set watching time?
No, it's not set.
Okay, so
Well, actually, you know what? We will, as a family, to calm down, we sit in the living room together in the evening about 7:30 p.m.
okay. So there are a variety of cooking shows out there. And the one I'm going to recommend is called Anthony Bourdain No Reservations, or his newer show that's on CNN. You can get it on Amazon and Netflix and all that. And it's an hour-long show, and it's all about food and places. I believe the show will be colorful enough to attract her. It might begin to open up memories of other places. So one thing that's really, really big for autistic children is past lives are far more triggery for them than you and I. So it might be a way a fajita is made in Mexico that looks one way, or the way a Chinese person cooks their fire duck, that will trigger her mind to go, huh? I know that. Everything is pattern recognition for them.
Okay.
Now, I've also had good success with parents that want to be truly active in their life, where they can, in the child's life, where they're going to learn hypnosis without the intention you're hypnotizing your child, so that you can create a cadence of pattern recognition that can have, not commands, more words behind your non-words. It's a limited form of empathic energy wording back to them. Okay? Like, she understands danger. Those things are coming through. But there are other things that you can do. Like, through the hypnotic process is, come enjoy our company with love. But it's not that. It's a cadence process in which you learn to get into her timing. Okay? And then when you get into her timing, you can do a very limited form of, let's just say when she's listening in the back, she's in the background doing whatever, but you know she's still listening to you. You see that a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
We think
Oh, she is. She is.
She will.
Yeah.
She will say stuff throughout the day, and we're surprised that she actually is listening. She
So
gives the appearance that she's not.
use that to your advantage. This is where the hypnosis learnings as a projection power of cadence, where you can talk about other eras of history and time. Let's say you bring up the Pirates of the Caribbean movie and you talk about pirates, or you talk about mummies, the tombs, the pyramids, anything you can think of that represents other eras of time, and watch her. It will trigger the shit out of her. And she might burst out one day and just give you like 10 minutes of stuff of truth about that area and then shut up for a month.
Oh, Andrew, the audio skipped a beat. I heard pirates, and then you
other eras of history. So you just bring up other, pirates was an example, the Egyptian times, the Chinese time. Talk about eras of history.
Okay, I can do that.
And what you
I
might
read a lot of
see,
history.
what might happen is you might trigger her enough to give you 10 or 20 minutes of, full-on truth conversation, and then she'll shut up for a month.
Okay.
It's cadence, pattern recognition. Conversely, there are people that are past life regressors that have enough psychic sense that if she sits down long enough and listens to the cadence, again, this is something you'd have to take on or learn from someone, that you can bring up a lot of past lives, especially if you can get her into low theta. So, have you ever heard of biofeedback?
Yes. Yes, I have, sir.
So there are a variety of biofeedback devices that are games for children. They're stress release games where you got to make the ball light up, and the only way it lights up is if you warm your hands to 1 degree higher or whatever. Begin
right.
to investigate to those. It will make a humongous difference in the way she has attention span to her own body. Because this is where the other thing, a lot of autistic children, no matter what level it is, they forget they have bodies and they really abuse them. They don't eat, they don't drink their water, their acidity is off, they get cranky.
Right, right.
Okay?
Yes, indeed.
How is she at night?
At nighttime, it takes her a long time to go to sleep, about 2 hours to really calm down. And she'll probably sleep for 4 to 5 hours. Her battery's recharged, and she's at full blast by 5 a.m.
And what is the first general groups of things she does when she gets up?
The first thing, she'll usually wake up laughing,
Yeah.
and then she'll patrol the house.
Yep.
Running in circles around the house. And she might come into our room to grab an iPhone or a Kindle, or just to check up on us, or to go open the fridge or something. She's active.
All right, I'm gonna suggest a game to play. So there are these motion sensors that turn on objects. So you could buy these, and you could have a variety of them where your voice, when you aren't there, can play out loud as she walks by. And you may still be in your room, and you're really going to play with her pattern recognition. And if you explain to her what these are, she may smash them one day, which I've had happen, or she might just allow it to be the pattern recognition. And one day in the middle of the morning, you might hear your voice going off, 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 and then she talks to it.
Okay.
Okay? So it's not that terribly hard to set up. It's just a motion activated thing where, just a loop of your voice is playing over and over and over again. So some of those automatic picture frames that have your pictures in it can have audio recorded in it too. You just need a little thing that sets it off from the motion detector.
Okay.
That's another suggestion. I call that voice booby trapping for autistic children. Sometimes it trips them out in a good way, and they're like, huh? How's he doing that? He can't be telepathic. Okay. Technology can be your advantage. Now, what is she like with her iPad?
She loves it. She's focused on it. She spends a lot of her time sitting looking at it when she's back from her speech therapy.
Okay, so
that's how they call it stimming out, stimulation. That's the stimulation she's been seeking out.
Yeah. So do you look at her watch history and see what she looks at?
Yes.
What does he look at?
I see themes. Most of it's animation. Most of it's about animals, but there's a strong theme of Halloween stuff. This is her own choice. We don't watch scary shows at the house, but she has found Halloween stuff repeatedly.
Okay.
She's drawn to it. Scooby-Doo and other shows like that.
Okay. Anything adult looking?
Some of it, yes, and we've had to stop her.
Like what?
Halloween related, let's say like a teenage or an adult show that slips through the parental control cracks on the Kindle. Okay. That's Halloween themed.
Okay.
It's all based off Halloween.
Does she watch weather?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So every now and then you can put a playlist on her to watch and say, Daddy wants you to watch this. She does understand you most of the time, or just not paying attention but not caring. And put world weather and see if it triggers her. Again, those cooking shows. It's the personality that will attract her. Okay? And you can use Halloween cooking themes to attract her to somewhere different. Okay?
Okay.
Again, pattern recognition. They are rote pattern repeaters. And when something new comes into their field, they want to figure out how it got into their field without them knowing it. Use this as your strategy, and she will begin to communicate back to you in patterns.
Oh, this is fascinating. I sure appreciate your help, Andrew.
So one other thing, how is she with her standard education stuff? She really excel at any one class type?
Well, we've had her in speech therapy and homeschool. We haven't had her in the public school system. Since she didn't talk until she was age 2, we've had her tested and for hearing and her brain and everything, and we just put her straight into therapy. She's not had a standard public education. She at homeschool and her education there, she excelled at drawing and coloring, exercise, song. She loves. She sings along. She can pick up music and repeat it very well.
Okay. So, other times I have had success where certain types of song-based autistic children, if you are to take something you want her to learn and do what's called auto-tuning. Have you ever heard of auto-tuning before? Where it takes your voice and it makes it very digital sing-songy type?
Okay. I know what you mean.
All right. And you can have opportunities for them to learn how to do dishwashing, things that they would never think that they would do. You know, you can teach them through the song. You know, you got to make it fun. So when you record the video, you know, Daddy wants to teach you something, how to wash the car without scratching it. And it's when it's done in that sing-songy auto-tune format and it gets into her repetitious basis, she may just want to join you for that process.
This is cool.
The music can be playing from the car, and it's your voice in the sing-songy process. Okay? Or let's say you want to, you know, something's happening with her. You can make one that's to calm her down. This is the Daddy Calming You Down song. Okay?
Oh, this is great. This is limitless here.
Right. Daddy, Mommy, everyone in the family, even the dog barking. You know, the dogs bark auto-tune too.
Oh, yeah. We got her a dog. The doctors recommended getting her a dog.
Yes.
And we did, and it helped. That dog helped.
What kind of dog?
It's a black-faced cur mix with German Shepherd.
Beautiful. That'll be a wonderful dog. How old's the dog?
3 years.
So before that dog gets 5 years old or 7 years old, introduce another dog so that doesn't destroy her when that one dog dies or passes on at the deep in the future. Okay?
I see what you mean.
Don't wait until, you know, it's sick and dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that happens. You know, some dogs go 7 years, some dogs go 16. Okay? Just remember to just save her by having the other one already tuned into her. And that other dog will love it too. He can have a little break. He can clock out every now and then.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Does she understand money?
No, I don't think so.
She has to have seen you use it. She probably understands it through the credit card. And that's something that's confusing her. So again, she's an empath in you. How do you empath, you know, having to pay the bills? To the empath, it's just chaos than what you're experiencing. Not that it's hard to pay the bills, but sometimes it is. It's just the emotional, you know, challenge that it is every month to pay the bills. She sees that on a cyclical basis.
Oh goodness, Andrew, there's all sorts of stress that we haven't even talked about. But based on what you told me about Eiley or Elizabeth, her she must be picking up on all this stuff.
Yep.
All the other background drama.
Right. So how do you neutralize it? Body work to start with. Bring that. This is the most important thing to get into her repetitive cycle, that she allows body work. Okay. The next part is, how do you disengage her emotionally from you and your wife and everyone who has to pay bills, because she doesn't get it. Okay? You can't just, you know, put $1 in her hand and explain what it is. She still won't understand that. But there are ways that you can educate her, I believe, with the auto-tune format and putting it on a playlist for her to go through a repetitious process, that it's a song that always ends good. Okay? It's like a love song that you have, or something she can relate to parts of the cartoon. It's like, you know, every cartoon has a certain part where this is repeated, this theme, but it always ends out good.
I see.
Okay? You got to be creative with her. All right, does she have issues wearing socks?
Yes.
Like,
Even
doesn't
though
want
it's barefoot, she loves
anything
to
on
be
her feet?
free.
Yeah, doesn't want anything on her feet?
No.
All right, have you ever seen those 5-toed shoes?
Yes.
Show her those. See if she'll try them on.
Okay.
And you can try to explain it to her. This will allow her to go on special adult hikes where there's mountains.
She loves that stuff.
Right.
She loves the outdoors.
Right. So she has to associate that those shoes will allow her to go on adventures with adults, because the adults have to wear those shoes to those places.
Okay.
All right. One more second. Let me just finish tuning in a little bit more. Does your wife sing?
Yes.
Like what
To
kind
her.
of sing?
She sings lullabies at nighttime to calm her down. And throughout the day, whenever Eiley has a rough time, Amy will sing to her.
All right. It's important that she invests into some voice lessons. It's important. Like, even if she goes once a week to a chorus instructor. Okay?
Okay.
It is obviously helping her. She will be able to sing motherly commands to her. It's almost going to be like you're going to be in a musical episode. You're auto-tuned and she's singing at her. It will get through. I mean it. It will get through. I can just see this kid.
Andrew, at church, if she doesn't like how I'm singing or something, or my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, Eiley will reach up and cover their mouth.
Yes.
To stop them from singing.
Yes, I know, because she's incredibly sensitive to pitch. Okay. So, if do you have a piano in the house?
No, I don't. I've got my bagpipe, and my brother-in-law on the same street has got his guitar.
See if you can find an old piano. It doesn't have to be, gigantic or new. Just have it there. Not a keyboard, an actual piano. You might be able to lucky and find someone who's getting rid of it as they're, moving for Christmas or whatever. A lot of people move. Keep an eye open for that.
Okay.
Okay. So when it comes to the wife getting voice lessons, it's not because her voice is bad. It's when she gets even better, the daughter will have more respect. Okay? And I mean serious more respect for the training that she puts into it. Because she'll understand I can communicate to her that way. Okay?
Okay.
I mean, again, you're going to have to see it like a musical. You're always stuck in a musical episode. I mean, you may want to auto-tune the wife, too. Auto-tune both of you. Like, even the dog. And then it's just getting her to watch it. I will go right back again to those cooking shows, travel cooking shows. Try to get that into her cyclical repetitive pattern. Like, she gets up early in the morning. You set your alarm to be up before her, and sneak out and turn the TV on so it's on a travel channel when she walks in and she's forced to look at it.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
Games to play. Okay, you just leave it there playing. If she turns it off, she turns it off. It's fine. Or she changes it, it's fine.
That's good. That's real good.
All right, man. Thank you so much. You have been a great teacher to a lot of people out there.
Andrew, thank you so much for your time and energy and focus. I really appreciate so much time you've given to me and my daughter and my family. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, man. Thank you so much. All right, let me take some questions from the chat here. Let's see, what do we got? My chat is frozen. Let me reboot it. So here is Melissa. Consciousness strike represents the law of one. Is this referring to the raw material? Well, before there was a Ra, there was still a law of one. It's just a play on words. So Ra does not own the law of one. He did not create the brand. It's been around in Old English and British terminologies long before that. So no, it doesn't refer to just that. It is the common colloquial now, or words that people understand, and when certain subject matters take ownership, much like the LBGTK community, LBGQ community took over the rainbow, they broadcasted it and made that their moniker for this era, which is their right. That doesn't mean they own every rainbow. Leprechauns had rainbows long before that community was around. So on and so forth. So that's the best answer for that. It's the law of one is a universal law. It has nothing to do simply with Ra. It is the flow of words that everyone represents that is all the metaphors behind it. So here's one. Can you talk how karma works? I can. Long story short, karma is a assemblage or disassemblage of karma, or energy that is charged and polarized. Charge can be positive or negative and neutral, and polarized is how far up the frequency scale the charge is. So something might be microvolts or macrovolts at its charge level, at its frequency level, example. So there might be much more voltage or behind it, or amperage behind it. So karma is stored as debt or as dharma, beneficial processing. We live in a world where they're trying to amass debt before dharma to control the outcomes of many potential futures, so that once you're in the fetus and the egg process, you are resolving debt before you're creating dharma, good karma. Now that is from that perspective. There are many, many other ways to see karma. Karma is what teaches young souls and old souls the necessary lessons of advancing your ability to understand heart-spaced awareness as an I am being in a soul, in a greater frequency, that is going through eons of learnings. Karma is also what drives bigger groups of soul families to come together and create great libraries and works of historical success, such as orchestras from the Mozart era. You know, Mozart wouldn't have been no one if it wasn't for the people playing in the bands or in the orchestras, so on and so forth. So karma is what drives forward the hologram. There are a variety of debt keepers who like to trade it around. This is why I call it everyone's wearing the dirty energetic underwear, through the interaction of the Babylonian money curse system, the way the government, banking, and media is constantly polluting us with the global infrastructures of distraction, leading us into resolving debt of others, thinking through the unity process that we can resolve certain karmas and help others who truly don't want to be helped. So that's the best quick answer that I can give for karma. All right, let's move on to the next caller.
caller is JP from the Dumfries area.
JP from the Dumfries area. Are you there?
Hey, Andy.
Hey, how you doing, JP?
I'm all right. You're being broadcast. Sorry, I'm just eating a rice cake.
Hello, this is JP from Wolf Spirit Radio. So you've been able to grab the stream?
Hello, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
And I got you on speaker. Let me just put you
Okay.
put the headphones on, and there we go.
There we go.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Hello, JP. JP is a radio host on Ever Beyond Radio, also at Wolf Spirit Radio. I was just on your show.
Indeed, you were a couple of weeks ago, and it's been hodling around there on YouTube. A couple of thousand views, I think.
Yeah,
So,
it's
well done.
been a lot of people have been liking that information. So what's new in JP land?
Well, remember I said I'd like to carry your show. Well, this is it, and this is my first attempt, and obviously I'm doing it by hand, and in future I want to kind of automate it a bit, but it is quite fun. Just beautiful what you just did with the autistic child. Such an inner world outwards approach. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. What I'll do is I'll put you in contact with my producer, Robert, and you guys can do all your technical wizard stuff too. Make it simplified.
Sure. I can give him a radio stream that he can dial into,
Oh, outstanding. So is there something you want to ask? Is there something burning question?
Oh, the only thing that's burning is my heartburn. But, if you wanted to, you could look into why I've had like a consistent heartburn for the last, I don't know, 6 months.
It's actually been 6 months. So does it come up like it's pushing on the bottom of your diaphragm and lungs and kind of pushes on the bottom of your chest?
It's like a low-level nausea.
Does it actually burn? There's our times when you're laying down and you feel it burn.
No, it's not a burn. It's like it's a feeling of sick. I think what you call in America sick to your stomach, but just before that moment, that's what I call nausea.
Okay. And how often is this happening?
I can feel it almost every day.
Does it have a trigger that turns on?
No, it just seems to rise up every few hours and
right,
stuff
so
like that.
You actually have a blockage. You actually have a blockage in your intestinal tract.
Yeah, it feels like I've got a twist in it.
No, it's a piece of very hard food that has been petrified, that was caught in a twist. That during a time where you're having a lot more fluid than you normally do, it moved and it's stuck now. And every time you have coffee, water, tea, whatever, it's creating gas around itself because it's being resaturated. It's literally was a piece of petrified food that had been in your stomach for probably 15 years. And it's creating gas. That gas is pushing up, which is forcing your duodenum to open and acidic acids to exchange and bile to exchange, which is creating your sick to your stomach. So when you then put food on top of it, you don't have the right acid in your stomach, and this food doesn't break down and hits the back of the blockage. Water hits the back of the blockage. It's actually a very risky health time for you. You seriously need to do a full-on Helder Clark, thunderstorm of a colon cleanse, or just go do the colonics. You may encounter severe gas, and that gas can be extremely painful. So this is where you can drink fennel seed tea, as well as baking soda and lemon juice every morning you wake up. Before you have anything else, this will change your pH. You could go for the good old milk of magnesia and do a 20-hour crap process, and you can get that blockage out without damaging yourself.
Do you know that's the funniest thing?
What?
I actually made magnesium oxide this evening by burning magnesium on my stove. There, so alkalize.
Yeah, but you got to realize that this petrified hunk of food is literally like a mummy, been petrified, and it's surrounded by mucus that's not allowing water to get to it. So when your other food particles back into it and push it a little too far, it can't make the bend. So you've got to be able to break down the mucus and all the other fecal matter that's around it, and that's part of it. So, and it's creating a bile backup, so your gallbladder is beginning to back up too.
Right.
So you have to treat this as if you were giving birth to a big turd, you know.
All right. Yeah, because it's like doesn't seem to be. Yeah, it feels exactly like what you just have been describing.
Yeah, it's actually a blockage.
Yeah.
So there are some,
and there's but you know, is there a metaphysical parallel to this?
yeah, a dream world that is very dense and very dangerous to you has been encapsulated into that petrified piece of feces, and you've done the work. Now you've got to pass it on out of your body before it becomes reactivated again.
Okay.
Meaning
All right.
you just did the great work, and now the next great work is passing this thing out of you.
Then I have to do the paperwork. Yeah.
Yeah, now you got to do the paperwork. Exactly. Literally, not the paperwork. And I would develop a ritual around it. Literally, develop a ritual around it. You know, a shit revocation if you got to. This ever-present moment sitting on
I
the...
can relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of other people can as well.
Yeah. Find the colorful euphemisms of letting go of all the great work that you've done, the love that you have found, so the good work you're doing. You are on your path.
What's that song from Frozen?
Yeah. Yeah. You are on your path, and this piece of feces is on its path out of you now.
That's right.
So
Time to say goodbye to some old stuff.
Alchemized negative dream world, and it's coming out as a blockage because it's telling you this would heavily damage you. And if you truly nurture the body and pass it, you will have a great enlightening experience as you pass that hunk.
Yeah. Okay. I think our audience can take about just as much as they're bad about that one, about my inner self.
So
thank you so much, Andrew.
Something else is you're not processing your food, and this is why this blockage has appeared this way.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you are getting 40 grams of protein every day. If that means having protein bars in the house, it's important. You've got to do at least 21 straight days of getting 40 grams of protein, because right now you can't. Your acid levels are so off all throughout your intestinal tract. Every time you eat, you're getting maybe 10% of the potential nutrients and calories out of each piece of food. Your whole body shape will change. You'll shed 15 pounds of water weight right away. And you'll probably shed another 6 or 7 pounds because your body's trying to constantly store and burn fat right now. Because it can't digest anything, and it's in survival mode.
Yeah, I think that's the issue, that I picked up a survival mode energy, and I haven't been able to switch that bit off.
Yeah. And then you need to do iodine therapy to assist the adrenal glands for that. So Dr. Lugal Xylon, and you're looking at like 6 months minimum to really, really regenerate the adrenal glands so that they can really give you the oomph when you need it instead of the 2 cup of coffee bump you get from it now.
Mm-hmm. All right, I get that. I got some Lugals. Yeah.
Hold on, there's something else here. So, on a side note, you have a tremendous amount of people demanding energy out of you, and that's not right. Some of them are stepping on your journey, literally your spiritual journey. inevitably you have to identify those external friends who never truly prove themselves to be friends. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And begin to allow them to pass on to another era of history, and new friends will replace them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are
Yep,
the ones
I hear
that
you.
are not necessarily friends. You know, being a radio host, you know, and running a radio station, you've got, you know, hundreds of people contacting you. You got to figure out which ones are spiritually clean and which ones are pretending to be spiritually clean and which ones are diamonds in the rough that just need to learn a little spiritual cleanliness to be their own polished diamond. And you really make a separation of who can walk the talk backed up by their own, you know, spiritual hygiene. Because in this industry, as you well know, there are many that, you know, walk the talk but are unable to, you know, stand their ground when, you know, the slightest bit is there.
There's a lot going on at the moment about that, isn't there?
Yeah. So this is where I call this is the year hope dies, 2017. 5 years after 2012, 2017, that's half a decade. You can't live on thinking the aliens are going to come tomorrow. The dinar's going to reevaluate. The dong's not going to reevaluate. The government's not going to crash the economy again. Trump's in office. The Republicans are running everything. EU's already been separated. They're not going to crash jack shit. Gold hasn't changed, even though they were rigging the market. This is the year hope dies. And there are many, many, many presenters and listeners of presenters who are going to have meltdowns because none of the predictions have come true. Those who have been saying nothing's going to happen tomorrow until you make it happen, the ones that have been saying, get up, use sacred discipline, those are the ones to be listened to. The ones that keep selling the fear for fear's sake because they got nothing new to sell, those are the ones you got to separate from. Energetically, that's what that is. You know, business is business, but you also make those choices too. But
Yeah,
energetically, you
and
gotta make a
things
separation.
fall away all of their own accord.
Right. Right.
It does.
And then falling for other people's drama. You know, it's really easy to get caught up in a whatever, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
It can be very distracting.
Right. As soon as something wants you to choose a side, you've already lost. You know, as soon as you choose a side, you've already lost. You know, we've talked about that before many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold
It's
on.
funny. They put me down as being near Gretna Green,
Yeah.
and that's the lowest. That's the very entry point of Scotland, and it's where the first church and registry office is.
Interesting.
That people can get married under Scottish law, like without having to wait. So lots of people come to Gretna Green to get married, to elope.
So is there marriage in your future?
I don't think so, not given the conversation I had this evening, but that's not I don't want to talk too much about that on the
It's
radio.
all right. It's all right. Synchronicities here. Don't get
No,
her
but
a
it's
ring.
where my parents got married.
Yeah. Don't get her a ring, get her a power staff. Lord of the Rings style power staff. You're
Dragon
transcending
stick.
the ring thing.
So, thank you very much, Andrew. I'll step aside and let the next caller come.
Alrighty, JP. Great talking to you. Hang in there, and I'll have Robert get a hold of you.
Yeah. We'll make this more fluid, and
Yeah.
you'll be heard on the thing.
Yeah, cool,
Right.
cool.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the next caller.
Next caller will be Sabrina from Tulsa area.
Sabrina from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sabrina. Going once. Going twice.
I'm trying to unmute.
You
There
are
we go.
unmuted. Look at you.
Yeah, long time no hear.
How you been doing?
I've been doing great.
So, what kind of questions do you want to ask today?
I didn't think I would get picked.
You did.
Something is going on with my stomach lately, and I was wondering if you can shed some light on that.
Okay. What year were you born?
57. It's had a birthday.
All right. So, when did the stomach issues begin?
I've had this off and on since 2006. I got a really bad bacteria, 4 really bad bacteria in my gut. They put me on antibiotics, 4 rounds, 14 days each, and fluconazole, and it really screwed me up, gave me leaky gut. And ever since then, I just can't seem to get this bloated stomach back under control. I'm a very restricted diet that I put myself on, and but I just have this bloated stomach. And for my birthday, I kind of went off the bandwagon a little bit and ate some gluten stuff that I shouldn't have eaten, and it's just like 5 months pregnant again.
All right. So, what's going on here is your acidity level is off. Your leaky gut syndrome. Do you know where the leak is taking place? Have they identified it?
I saw it etherically as the lining of my intestines.
No. You actually have an area of your intestinal wall that is over-absorbing food and then putting fluid back in. And because your acidity levels through your entire intestinal tract are all off, food comes to that area and then goes to the open non-mucus area of the membrane of that intestinal wall, absorbs nutrients through, and then puts toxins back into your stomach or back to your intestinal tract, which are then encapsulated in other food particles that are then hardened. And similar to the other collar, JP, they become like these pellets that every time new moisture comes on them, they give off gas. They are also very triggery by other chemical types. Right now, your intestinal tract itself is toxic. 80% of your actual immune system is in your intestinal tract. And have you had any colon cleanses done, or anyone do that?
I've had some energy workers work with me, and all of them had said my intestinal tract was too weak and to not do a colon cleanse because it would be too rough on my flora and my actual physical lining of the colon. So I have not done that. And even when they said that, before they said that, it just felt like,
well, they're full of shit. They're full of shit right now.
Pardon the pun, right?
Right. There are plenty of ways for people with severe IBS to soften their stool without causing reactions. Plenty. Okay? They are just not knowledgeable enough to know how to do that. This is going to involve home kalimas or home processing, where you have to get the all-natural prune bars, okay? Prune juice, the things you know you can eat that do what? Flush you out without killing you. Plenty of natural ways to soften. You'd be surprised what drinking a gallon of apple juice will do in 3 days.
Okay, I'm allergic to apple juice.
What other? Prune juice. How about prune juice?
I haven't had prune juice in years. I don't know. So I can try it again.
All right,
yes.
so there are these special prune bars that come out of Australia that'll make you poop up a thunderstorm. Okay.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'll have Debbie put it in the chat room. Debbie, if you're there, can you tell us what the name of those prune bars are? She accidentally had a whole bar one day and related a story to us. As well as fennel seed tea. There's a variety of other detox-based teas. You need to go and check out the Helda Clark method. Also, are you familiar with the things called a zapper?
Yes.
You need to get a zapper. That's where they go right on the surface of your skin. Your flora and fauna can be respawned very, very fast. There are certain probiotics that you buy that stay in the refrigerator. They're never supposed to be left out all day or all night. Those are the ones that you need. Oftentimes you can go to a homeopath that will virtual by not by prescription, but they have them available there where no one else carries them. Have you seen a homeopath?
I have tried doing the probiotics, and the ones that have the 1,000 parts, whatever, I cannot do those. They make me feel really ill. I have to take the one that is only like 3, and I haven't done those probiotics in a long time. But I do a lot of kimchi and kombucha
Beautiful,
and
beautiful,
things like that,
beautiful.
which has really
So,
been my saving grace.
Those ones that have 5 in it, cut the pill in half then.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's the dosage is too big for you. That's what it is.
Correct. Yeah, and it makes me feel really crappy.
Well, yeah, because it's digesting stuff you can't get rid of and trying to rebalancing your pH.
So you're saying my pH is, and I drink Kangen water, so I keep my pH pretty neutral.
Do you test your urine for your pH?
I have not tested my urine.
Then you have no idea what your pH is, do you?
No, not really.
Right. You need to go and you can go get the urine strips, the pH strips test anywhere, and you just start doing it twice a day for the next month.
Okay.
Minimum. So you actually know what your pH is, so you can begin adjusting your fluid intake, as well as figuring out what other ways you can take dietary supplements that don't cause your stomach, because I'm sure there are certain pills that just turn your stomach into knots, isn't there? Like vitamin B and D and stuff.
Yes, I have pretty much gone to sublingual on almost everything.
Yeah.
I cannot do pills that stay in my gut. They just do not work for me anymore.
All right, so I know that. That's why once you adjust your acidic levels in pH, you'll be able to do that again.
So where are you seeing this area in my gut?
So in your stomach, you have your first long stretch, turn, second long stretch, turn, right on the third long stretch before the small intestine becomes the large intestine.
That's interesting because that is where I always have a dull ache in my stomach all the time.
Right. That's actually a blockage right there. That's actually a food blockage that's stuck there, and it's so big that it can't move on and it can't be broken down. And it's constantly being bombarded, similar to the last caller, it's constantly being bombarded by fluid at different pH levels and acidity levels, and then starts giving off gas that forces it to expand right there, that makes a bubble of pain. Then that gas bubble completely alters your pH again.
So anything after that bubble or that place is all crap then, basically.
Yeah, crap that can't get out properly.
Wow.
So.
And I can't eat raw foods. It just tears my stomach up.
You can't break them down, right?
You can't break it down.
No.
So I have to, steam it just a little bit.
So I would actually think about pressure cooking all your food. You you will be able to eat a lot more. Because
I'm pretty much gone off of meat totally, because I eat meat and I just feel like crap.
Well, what I'm going to suggest is an attempt. Pressure cooking meat, you can break it down and actually get stuff through. Right now, because of what's going on, you're not absorbing anywhere near the amount of nutrients that you need from your food. Okay? Testing your urine will be a lot about that next, the path of discovery of acidity balance. So
What
have you?
should it be?
Yeah.
Should it be 7.2 or should it be 8 or what? What should it be? My pH.
Everyone has a different pH level. I'm willing to bet your pH is 13 or 15 right now.
Whoa.
Right. Which
That's
means
more alkaline.
which means that you may need to switch to distilled water instead of pH balanced water. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense.
So, how do you react to alcohol?
I hardly drink it. I just feel like crap the next day, especially hard alcohol.
Okay.
I only pretty much drink wine. That also maybe once every 3 weeks, once every two
All right.
and a half weeks.
So, I want you to go and find Guinness. Are you familiar?
Guinness beer?
Guinness beer, yes. There
It's
are
my favorite.
Okay. You need to start drinking that on a regular basis. Don't worry about you. It has specific minerals in it that you need. Okay? Put all the wine away for the next couple months and focus on Guinness. What you can also do is pour the Guinness into a glass and add a bunch of ice to it so it waters it down. And you will be able to assist the control of the acidity in certain areas, as well as begin to break down that hunk slowly. Because for you, this is all about slow. You already know you can't do the thunderstorm of a colon cleanse, but you can do a very low, slow erupting volcano that allows it to come out over 30 or 40 days. Okay?
This blocked area, is it about 4 inches long? Because that's how I feel.
Yeah, maybe even 5. Actually, it's 2 pieces. It's 2 pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it hurts so much. Because each piece pushes up against each other. Okay? So this is where education about low, slow colon cleanses. Ones that can break the food down. Pressure cooking. You need food that you can absorb right away. And this may not sound good to you, but go and find a roast beef brisket or a big beef brisket or pork or whatever and pressure cook the shit out of it. And start eating it and adding it to your food. I don't think you can even absorb protein bars right now. I think your stomach is unable to break it down.
No, it makes my tongue break out on the sides.
Yeah, if it's making your tongue break out, yeah, you're screwed. So pressure cook your food and switch back to meat.
I have been doing beef broth.
Beautiful.
But I haven't done that in the past couple of months. I just got off of it and I didn't do that. So I'll go back to doing that. I always feel better when I get the beef broth. I have been doing liver pate, but then I'm doing it on sourdough bread and then I feel bloated from that.
Are you feeling bloated from the sourdough bread or the pate?
I just don't eat bread. So when I do eat bread, the only bread I eat is sourdough. And I seem to do okay on it if I keep it under control.
Well, why don't you find some gluten-free sourdough bread, or just eat the pate and see what it does. Pate can be extremely beneficial for you right now. Extremely, if you're able to eat that. Yeah.
And it's chicken liver pate. So
duck liver, chicken liver. If you can find foie gras also.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's super healing. So, for people that don't know, it's livers. Super healing for you. So
I have also been doing some what is it, pills? The glandular. When I had done an interview with you before, you had told me to have glandular supplements, and I have been doing out of Australia. There's some liver. Desiccated liver or something. I am doing that and I seem to like that. My body seems to like that.
Yeah. So let me go a little deeper here. So
I can feel you.
Yeah. Are you getting any swelling in your knees or your upper legs, your quads?
My right ankle, my right knee swells up.
Is there something that triggers it to swell up?
I don't know. I sometimes feel an energy leak, and then not sure what causes it. Something happens during sleep time, dream time, I think. And then my right ankle gets really sluggish from the lymphatic in my right ankle, and it starts to back up into behind my right knee.
Yep. So your limbs are getting blocked because you have so much toxins in your intestines that are inside the mucus that you can't get rid of. And this is actually what's causing the majority of your issues. So to be blunt, you need to be able to figure out how to do an easy colon cleanse that gets you down to the mucus layer, which means you're pretty much crapping out what looks like black water for half a day, and then you have to build your mucus layer back up. And you got to find out how to do it gentle. So having soup, bone broths are outstanding. There are other things that you can eat where you're roasting bone marrow, where you get the bones that you just roast the bone marrow and you pull it out with a spoon and garlic on it, or whatever you can eat. Very important. Livers, so on and so forth. And there are going to be a lot of vegans out there that are going to hate me for this, but lamb heart, beef heart. So if you cut it, and I mean thin shave, cut it, and figure out a way for you to cook it, or steam, or like I said, pressure cook it, you will begin to regenerate parts of your body so you can build up a greater immunity system naturally. And you can begin to take care of this blockage, as well as the area that's basically the blockage is rubbing against the intestinal tract and stopping from normal mucus layer there, which then causes this leakage.
Is this a past life thing?
Part of it is. But there are things you created this lifetime, and that may have been the nucleus, the sand grain that created the pearl, in reverse here. Just getting at the sand grain is one thing. You still have to get rid of, everything around it. So yes, past life regression about this very much could help if you want to go down that path to assist you at understanding more, which you will discover in those past life regressions that you died from dysentery many times.
Yes, okay. I have recalled that, and it feels right when you're saying that.
Yeah, as well as typhoid and all those other waterborne sicknesses, dengue fever.
Interesting. I didn't think I'd been in Africa, but I guess you're picking that one up.
Dengue comes over everywhere. You can get dengue in Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah. There's about... Is
this coming from the 14th century past life that I do not want to go see?
That and more. So Debbie inside the chat room is an amazing past life regressor. And all you got to do is to send her an email is hr@galactichistorian. Or you can send to the main website, and then Debbie can get a hold of you if you want to have a conversation with her about that.
Okay.
Debbie and I have many, many, many long conversations about internal gut issues. It is our own little, nerd subject we talk about. Everybody else is like, why are you always talking about poop? I'm like, there's knowledge in that. That's why.
Get into the shit of things, right?
Exactly. That what goes in goes out.
Right. Now you had said something about someone was going to put something out on the chat. I don't see anything in there.
Let me see.
Maybe I'm going the wrong way.
I don't see Debbie there. She is saying Dr. Schultz, herb doctor. So Debbie, if you're listening, can you type in the name of those prune bars that you were talking about? Yeah, she can't remember the name.
Okay, but it's Australian and it's a prune bar.
Yeah.
I'll research it.
Yeah. And they're like really will get you going. They really will get you going. So you got to begin to educate yourself.
Full of shit.
Yeah. So You begin to educate on yourself of how to do soft cleanses, how to soften your stool. Now, there are a variety of teas, like I said, you can do. There are these detox teas, as well as fennel seed tea, and a variety of others. Like first thing in the morning, you take baking soda and lemon juice. That will alkalize your body really fast.
But I thought my body was too alkaline.
No. It'll start setting a balance on your up. See, one side of your intestinal tract is highly acidic, and your other side's highly alkaline. It's not balanced all the way through. And what you'll start to notice as you test on the urine strips, that it changes from 15 to 3 in a day. Okay?
Wow.
And then after a while, your bottom will be very acidic and your top will be very, very alkaline. That's the blockage separating the ability for the alkaline and acidity level to be completely together. It's not one hunk of fluid throughout the intestinal tract.
Got it.
Okay? That's why
that would explain why I'm tridocic.
Yep. And it would probably explain why your fingernails hurt at times really bad too.
Not so much my fingernails, but my pointer finger joints on both.
Yeah, it's going to come into your. It's going to come.
Wondering why am I toxic?
Toxicity. It's called distal toxicity. So your body's trying to take the toxins as far away from the intestinal tract as possible and store them in other parts of the body so that you can find some form of homeostasis in the intestinal tract.
Okay. And what was that homeopathic thing you said I should try?
That was the homeopathic probiotic. I would go to a homeopath just to hear their opinion about your scenario, because they are going to help you understand other aspects of balancing your diet, as well as having product that is high quality and not multi-level marketing, pyramid scam stuff.
Okay.
That's the knowledge base you need. As well as homeopathy, they have these little tiny white pills. It's called the full kit that they take you through. And there are certain enzymes in there that you don't have. And once you trigger the body to recognize them, it'll start producing them again. Your body's in survival mode. It can't produce everything it needs.
Okay.
So begin to pressure cook your food. On
the pressure cooking the food, I don't understand how I'm going to even get any nutrients if I'm cooking them to death.
So it is still nutrients in pressure cooked food.
Okay.
It's not completely.
You're just making it more digestible,
exactly.
So my gut is not working so hard.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. I have a bunch of clients in Australia that have major exposure to gut parasites. There was this company that went out and got water from the Australian outback and tried to sell it for $10 a bottle, and a whole bunch of people got a very nasty intestinal parasite out of it that's virtually impossible to get rid of. And it comes down to, if you want to really save yourself, you got to start pressure cooking your food. Yeah. Or eat all liquids, which sucks after a while.
Yeah, because I miss the munchies.
Right.
I need the grinding of my jaws.
Right. So pressure cooking will give you that back. One of the greatest things you can do is pulled pork, pulled beef.
Oh, I can't stand pork.
Whatever works. Something else. Okay?
So what's in pulled pork that is good for me? Pressure cooked.
It has things that will trigger your body to make stuff to break it down. Okay?
Okay.
It's about.
And one thing, turkey, within 20 minutes of me eating turkey, I feel like crap.
Yes, because it's the tryptophan. It's the tryptophan. The tryptophan is improperly broken down.
Improperly broken down.
Improperly broken down, right. That's the majority of your issue. Your stomach acids don't break the food down correctly. And then it moves on to the next area that has a different acidity level, and it's not broken down right. And then it moves on to the next area, and it never gets broken down right. And then it hits the blockage, and it's got to go around it, which pushes out and creates pain. Then it comes out on the other side of the blockage, and it's in a completely different acidic environment or an alkaline environment. And then you just crap it out and take nothing from it, none of the nutrients.
So I've got like these multi-density and acidic pH areas that is a constantly like, what do I do? Where do I go? What am I trying to process?
Right.
It's a constant misinformation going to my gut brain.
Yes. And then the pressure cooked food, along with, you know, the stuff that, you know, begins the fennel seed tea and the lemon juice and baking soda, you'll begin to create this effect that begins to move the blockage very slowly until finally you can get it out of you. And it may take 20, 30 days, but you'll feel it move an inch here, an inch there, an inch here. And every bite that you begin to have of this pressure cooked food, you're going to be realizing it's going another inch and another inch until finally, like an avalanche, it breaks free. Combined with the stuff that naturally soften the stool.
Will I see it pass? Will I know?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. It may make a metal tink sound when it hits the bowl.
No kidding.
That's the penny
So,
you ate when you were
baking
5.
soda, the baking soda and the lemon juice, how am I preparing that? And I'm doing that on an empty stomach in the morning,
Right.
correct?
That is, you got to start dosing yourself to know what's not going to make you ill. So start with a half teaspoon of baking soda in 6 or 8 ounces of water and as much lemon juice as you can stand. If you can add more baking soda, even better. A full teaspoon. You may discover that it's so balancing for you that you add 2 teaspoons in the morning. And that's okay too.
And instead of regular lemon juice, can I use the lemon oil, Young Living lemon oil? It's very highly concentrated. Or is it preferable to get the actual real
the actual juice, either lemon juice in a bottle or lemon juice right out of a lemon. Okay, when it hits your stomach, it creates it's hard to describe, like when you pop open a soda, but in reverse. It takes the charge, the negative acidic charge, out of the water right away. It's like it's neutralizing the water.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
As you do this every day, and it gets a little further and a little further and a little further in your intestinal tract, and it'll do more. The way the stomach works, like if you take water first thing, it passes through duodenum right away. The stomach knows. So there are things that you can do also in the beginning of the morning where you can take drops of chlorophyll. Have you done that before?
Not in a long time. I used to do it when I was really, really bad and I had diarrhea really bad. I did chlorophyll. And I did the one that was without the, the chromium that you're not supposed to have, and with the mint flavor. And I seem to do pretty well with that, but I haven't done that in probably 4 years.
All right, so there are newer forms of chlorophyll out there. So first thing first, when you take chlorophyll, your stomach looks at it as if it were blood cells, and it allows it to immediately pass to the next part of the intestinal tract. Immediately. You do need that. You do need that. So find the most concentrated version that you can get of chlorophyll, and then that's first thing in the morning. You take it with water, let it go through your intestinal tract. You know, and this is after you've done the lemon juice and baking soda for a few weeks. So you want to, if you do it for a few weeks, and then instead of first thing in the morning, instead of taking your baking soda, lemon juice, you take the water with the chlorophyll in it, and then wait 30 or 40 minutes, and then you can add food, and then the next day, go back to your lemon juice So every other day you're switching it up. One day you're getting chlorophyll, the next day you're getting your lemon juice and baking soda.
Okay.
This is
That
really
sounds
going to change
good.
everything about you. Combined with the pressure cooking, you're going to get this pressure weight. See, this is why this blockage is in you. You don't have enough acidic and food pressure to push this blockage any further around the corner. Think of it like, you know, like hair in a drain, and you need to Drano it.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay. I'm actually just getting a visual of it as you said that. It
Right.
looks like hair
Yeah.
stuck around.
Yeah.
And was this caused by the 4 colony of bad bacteria that overtook my gut?
So did you say they gave you ketoconazole?
No, fluconazole for, they didn't know what was going on. And
They gave you
me
that
high doses of antibiotics, 14 days each, 4 times.
Yeah. They screwed you up. They screwed you up big
And
time.
then they gave me fluconazole to get rid of any kind of fungus. They thought
Right.
it might be fungus related.
Right. So fluconazole is they originally killed your intestinal tract. You actually
Exactly.
have a lawsuit there. You actually do have a lawsuit there. How long ago was that?
This was 2006, so
It
it's
might be.
probably past
It
my
might
legal-
be, but if you're mad enough, they did kill you. They did kill your intestinal tract. They should have known better. They did the same thing to me. It's all right. I had the same thing happen.
I'm just tired of feeling like I've got 5 months pregnant bloat tummy. And I
Well,
cannot lose weight, and it's ridiculous.
the
with
lemon juice and the baking soda is really going to help a lot of that. A lot of that. The fennel seed tea is going to take the fangs out of the gas producing areas, and then combined with the pressure cooked food and the additional bone broths on top of that, you will break this blockage down. It'll go like eventually like a slow volcano, putting a little bubble out here and there, until finally one day you get a big old hunk coming out and you go, free at last, and you'll know. And then from there, it's building it back up. Once that blockage is gone and no longer creating toxicity in you, it's just normal standard colon cleansing, where you can begin to really educate yourself on home kalimas. Basically, it's home colonics. Kalima is a home colonic.
Right.
Okay, and you can buy your own board or make your own buy them for $250 at California Kalima board, the best ones that are out there. I mean, just type into YouTube home Kalima, Colema testimonials, and you'll see people that have cured themselves of cancer, heart disease, everything you can possibly think of.
Spell that again. Home Kalina, C-A.
Colema, Colema.
Oh, there's a kit you can buy.
Yeah. Right. There's kits that you can buy. Educate yourself. This is where you begin to go into the Kalima websites and begin to really educate you. There's so many people out there that have testimonials of how they saved their lives from colon cleansing. Thousands of testimonials. Blow your mind. Thousands of people with the exact same symptomology as you. Okay?
Wow.
Right.
So is this where you're trying to get to that black layer on the inside of
Yes.
the lining of the colon?
Yep,
Because
that's called the black
that-
water. Yes.
Okay. And
That-
so you really want to pass that black, slimy
correct.
stuff and pass it through.
That is what is holding the final bacteriological colony, and what's still holding some tremendous amounts of antibiotics that are encapsulated in the mucus right now, which are slowly killing off your stuff. Yeah.
And then what did you say about the zapper? I need to get a zapper.
So it's the Helda Clark zapper. Yeah, you can get them in a
Okay.
variety of sizes. Yeah.
Use the crack.
Yeah.
Use the crack. Okay.
So, and you just wear that all the time. What that will
So
do
is
is take care of
Is that
any
better than the
that'll take
what
care
is
of parasites. The zapper will take care of parasites. Now, you do have parasites, but don't be worried. Everyone has parasites. It's
Right,
just the
we
way
all know
that your intestinal tract is set up right now. They're not helping, okay? And the zapper will begin to take care of the parasites.
Okay.
So do you have
And
any?
the
you have-
zapper is better than the hydrogen therapy thing to get rid of the parasites that way?
Yes, the zapper is way better. So it's also important that you go and do hyperbaric chambers. Are you familiar with a hyperbaric chamber?
Not hyperbaric, but the float. And actually, I just started a job at a float center where they got the Epsom salts, and you can go float in them. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but there's another thing called a hyperbaric chamber. Those are wonderful too, and will help you at balancing some of your skin-based gallbladder acidity. But a hyperbaric chambers, these companies are popping up everywhere. Anyone that's in the chat or listening on air or on type in hyperbaric chamber with your zip code after it in Google, and you will see businesses that you can go to and be inside a hyperbaric chamber. When you're inside there, it's 4 times the volume of oxygen. So every breath you take is 4 breaths. If you were to fall asleep in there, it would be like 8 hours of sleep. That is how much it rejuvenates the body. You need oxygen-based therapy, very much.
My oxygen is always low, and when I get to anything with any kind of altitude, I just crater, totally crater.
Yeah.
So it's oxygen therapy.
No, it's hyperbaric therapy. It's very different. Hyperbaric therapy, it's under pressure. The oxygen's under pressure, and each breath you take adds more oxygen to your blood, and then more aspects of your blood take negative stuff away and put it back into your intestinal tract, and the more oxygen you have in your blood, the more effective your intestinal tract is. I would say if you were able to do 3 hyperbaric chambers per week for a period of a few weeks, you would actually be able to completely regenerate your intestinal tract if you are already on the way to fully softening the stool. I believe that much in the hyperbaric chambers for you. And they have packages, again. It will heal you more than the energy workers can do. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And then once you're done healing the gut, you will need energy work because it was a trauma. How many years has it been like this now? 8 years?
Since 2006.
So
yes.
10 years, 11 years now.
Yes.
That's when the energy workers can step in. That's when the other people can start doing work on you. Take focus, take drive, and understand that you can change this. You can.
So many different kinds of hyperbaric chambers here. That's really interesting.
Right.
But you are asking me to do the one where I actually go into a chamber and it's under high pressure.
Correct. And it's not a room. There are these zip-up vinyl bags that you go in that they have at offices. And they're like, it's like a tube, like 7 feet long, 4 feet wide, 3 feet wide, and it's got a zipper on it, and you just climb inside, they zip it shut, and it builds up the pressure. It takes about 5 or 8 minutes to build up the pressure and 5 to 8 minutes to depressurize.
It's like going into a deep sea.
Correct.
Just
4 times the amount of oxygen. Yes. And if you look at the health benefits from the hyperbaric chambers, it can, for those people that have traumatic brain injuries, Alzheimer's, anything with the brain-related issues, it regenerates them. People that have had strokes, they get their struck, they get their voice back, they get their ability to move their fingers back. Oxygen heals everything. That's the type of beings we are.
now, does that go back to having a reptilian DNA base of having the oxygen and not having the oxygen in your body? You know, when we used to have green blood versus the red blood? Iron rich versus
What makes you think we have had anything other than red blood? Who told you that?
I read somewhere and it felt right about that we were underground at some point and our blood used to be green and then it started becoming more ferrous and more red. Is that the wrong Akashic records?
No, that is a form of reptilian species that tried to take over this world. They were the elites of the elites of the elites. And when they came here, they had a green blood. And it was very specific. Humans are red-blooded. And Earth itself rejected the green-blooded reptilians. So they can't come here in physical manifestation. But they are still here as a DNA lineage waiting with issues. So it's a unique story. I don't speak of it very often.
Right. I have some kind of memory of something to do with that. So I don't quite know what that is, but it feels familiar to me.
You've done battle with them many, many, many times on both sides. My best advice here is use the union and communion consciousness strike as a basis of knowledge that separates what forced evolution is versus natural, organic, co-creative evolution. The green blood reptilians are forced evolution at every angle. They know nothing else other than that. They are the light dictatorship. They are the bad ones that breed the other bad ones that do the bad work. Okay? They're not the nice ones. They are the pretend gods. They're the ones that created pretend gods in the first place. Okay? Darling, I must let you go. Thank you so much. You have been a great teacher for a lot of people there.
Thank you. Thanks for picking me. I was like, oh my gosh, my name's being called. Where's my unmute button?
That's right. You made it. You made it. You made it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
You're
Take
welcome.
care of yourself, Andrew.
I will.
Thanks for putting.
Yeah. It's a fun show. So thanks a lot, everyone. As a reminder you, our new Mystery Schools ebook will be out this coming Thursday. So look in your email for it. That's going deep, deep, deep into the different styles of Mystery Schools, the histories behind them. That ebook is a transcript format. Also, the last draw we have for giving away tickets will be the 23rd of September on Saturday, September 23rd will be the last draw. So, Robert, do we have our winner for today?
We do have a winner, and it's Adriana Frazanito.
Adriana Frazanito! You have won the 2 free tickets to come to the live event October 5th through the 8th. Ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding. All right, everyone. This show will be on Facebook as a replay. We're going to be replaying all of our live shows on Facebook Live. So yes, it'll be a replay on Facebook Live. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter if you're there, and subscribe to the live watch page. Just go to the front of andrewbatzos.com. If you want to get all the free material, the Advanced Heart Meditation, the Shaman's Death, the Sanctuary of All Souls, and all the other free teachings I got, you got to sign up for the email list. All right, everybody, we will be back this coming Thursday for Living the Mystical Life Daily webcast. And that webcast will be going in depth to understanding what self-illumination is. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you this Thursday.